Welcome back to Skytech-Lens. When politicians talk trade wars, the promises are always grand tariffs will make foreign nations pay, shielding American industries and punishing unfair practices. The message is simple: others will foot the bill, and Americans won't feel a thing. But the reality is very different. The tariff is paid first by the American importer, not the foreign producer. That cost is immediately embedded in the U.S. supply chain. The idea that European companies will just slash profits to keep American prices stable is mostly a fantasy. Instead, the financial burden travels down the line, importers, distributors, retailers, until it lands squarely in the wallets of American consumers and businesses. Tariffs on European wine, whiskey, and Prosecco were meant to punish Europe, but the price wave is hitting American bars, restaurants, and homes. The global market isn't as flexible as politicians hope. European producers have other buyers, so American importers have little choice but to pass on the cost. What starts as a political statement ends as a higher bill for Americans, dissolving the promise that they will pay. The journey of a tariff is a story of accumulation. When a case of Scotch whiskey arrives at a U.S. port, the importer pays the tariff up front, raising their base cost immediately. That higher cost is passed to the distributor, who adds their own markup. The distributor sells to the retailer, who also marks up the now inflated price. By the time the bottle reaches the shelf or bar, the original tariff has been multiplied through each step. Each business in the chain applies its profit margin to a higher base, amplifying the effect of the tariff. The result? A modest tax at the border becomes a significant price hike for the final customer. The tariff isn't a flat fee tacked on at the end, it's a seed of cost that grows at every stage. By the time you order a glass, the tariff has bloomed into a much larger price increase. The consumer pays far more than the original tariff amount. For most people, trade policy is invisible until it shows up on the menu. That glass of scotch that was $14 last year, now it's $16. A bottle of champagne that used to be $80 might now be $100. These aren't random price hikes. They're the compounded result of tariffs. The increases roll out gradually, as old stock is replaced by new higher-cost inventory, creating confusion and inconsistency for shoppers. Some stores still have the old prices, others have already raised them. The simple act of buying a bottle becomes a hunt for the best deal before prices rise everywhere. Ultimately, the tariff is an invisible tax that lands on the consumer, not the foreign producer. The political goal fades. What remains is a higher cost for a simple pleasure. The real impact of tariffs is counted in the dollars and cents Americans now pay for a drink. America's three-tier alcohol distribution system, importer, distributor, retailer, was designed for regulation, but it's a powerful price multiplier. Each tier adds its own markup to the tariff-inflated cost. For example, a $40 bottle of champagne with a $6 tariff becomes $46 for the importer. The importer adds a margin, selling it to the distributor for $55. The distributor adds another markup, selling to the retailer for $70. The retailer might mark it up to $105, and a restaurant could list it for $210 or more. The initial $6 tariff is magnified into a $1.20 plus price hike for the consumer. Every business in the chain protects its margin by applying a percentage to the new, higher cost. There's no single culprit, the system itself guarantees this outcome. The three-tier structure turns a moderate tariff into a dramatic price explosion. In the end, the system ensures tariffs hit consumers hardest. Bar, restaurant, and shop owners face a tough choice when tariff-inflated invoices arrive. At first, many try to absorb the cost, hoping tariffs are temporary. But as costs persist, they adapt, reducing pour sizes, reworking menus, or steering customers toward untariffed alternatives. Some drop European brands entirely, focusing on products from unaffected countries. For businesses built on European selections, substitution isn't an option. They must raise prices or risk their survival. Most eventually pass on the cost, risking customer loyalty. Tariffs force small businesses into a delicate balancing act, straining finances and customer trust. The pain isn't just in the consumer's wallet, it's a daily challenge for thousands of American businesses. Tariffs are supposed to help domestic producers by making imports pricier. In reality, the benefit is limited and often temporary. American winemakers and distillers rely on global supply chains, French barrels, Italian bottles, Portuguese corks, so their costs can rise too. Production can't ramp up overnight, vineyards and distilleries need years to adjust. Not every consumer will switch to domestic brands, flavor profiles and loyalties run deep. Some just buy less, or look to other countries. The supposed protection is porous, and the benefit diluted. Tariffs disrupt the market, but don't guarantee a win for local producers. Keeping tariffs on European wine and spirits is a deliberate political move. These high-visibility luxury goods are used as leverage in trade negotiations, aiming to pressure European governments. The EU has responded by suspending some retaliatory tariffs, hoping for a reciprocal gesture from the US. But Washington is reluctant to give up this bargaining chip without concessions. As talks drag on, tariffs remain, a tool in a high-stakes diplomatic game. American consumers and businesses are caught in the crossfire. The price of a bottle now reflects not just quality, but the state of international relations. These products are more than drinks, they're symbols and tools of statecraft. Ordinary Americans pay the price for political strategy. The impact of tariffs isn't felt equally across the US states with high alcohol taxes like Washington or Oregon. See even steeper price hikes, as state taxes are calculated on the inflated wholesale price. Urban centers with high overheads and competitive hospitality industries adjust prices quickly, while rural areas may feel less impact. In cities, demand for premium European brands means more widespread price increases. In regions where domestic products dominate, the effect is smaller and less visible. The result is a fragmented national experience. Some feel the sting acutely, others barely notice. The pain of tariffs is concentrated in certain regions and businesses. National policy, local consequences. The idea that tariffs make foreigners pay is politically appealing, but reality is harsher. In a global market, costs don't stay at the border, they end up at the American cash register. The tariff is paid by US importers, then amplified through the supply chain. Small businesses face tough choices, domestic producers see only marginal gains, and consumers pay more. Tariffs act as a regressive, invisible tax, chipping away at confidence and budgets. The lesson: global trade can't be manipulated without consequences at home. The attempt to make others pay circles back to Americans. In a trade war, the first casualties are found in the wallets of ordinary citizens. Thanks for watching. Subscribe the channel for more videos. Thanks.